him and his friend are there. And I have my back turned to him at this point, and he goes, "Hey girl." We're moving. Yay! If it seems a little messy in the background, that's because it's Monday evening and the movers are coming Wednesday morning, and the apartment I'm moving into is quite a bit smaller than the one I live in now. So we're getting rid of like so much stuff. We're selling a ton of my stuff. We're donating a ton of my stuff. Like, it's cray up in here. And yeah, I have nightmare neighbors. So that's why I'm moving. And I'm gonna tell you about it because I'm frustrated. I feel like a lot less frustrated now that I know I'm getting out, but it's been very frustrating for a really long time now. And we've put up with a lot, and we've ignored a lot of signs from the universe that it's time for us to move on from this apartment because we love it. And like, we're genuinely sad to leave. And if you watched my LA apartment tour, my 2-bedroom one, I'll link it below. In that video, I literally said, like, I plan to stay here until I buy a place in LA. Like, I loved it. I plan on this like being my place until I could buy and own here because that's how happy I was. And it sucks that things changed, but we like tried to work through it. And finally we just had to accept that we need to move on and listen to the universe's signs and, you know, go to the next chapter in our journey. But it's cool. We'll be starting like 2020 off fresh. It'll be nice. So we got cockroaches. Real bad. And it was frustrating because we're very clean. Like, I'm a 25-year-old, almost 26-year-old woman. You know, I live with my mom. I'm blind, so inherently, like, I have to be tidy and clean. So it was weird that we were getting roaches, you know, because we're so tidy and clean. And at first it like wasn't much, but then it started becoming an increasingly bigger problem around like February, March. And then by April, May, it was like a nightmare. We had to get them coming in to exterminate once a week. It was all mainly located in the kitchen, a bit in my mom's bathroom and a bit here in the living room, but mainly in the kitchen. We would have to every week take every single item we owned out of every cupboard and every crevice, every shelf, and move it so that they could come deep spray. And then they would come in between and do like mini sweep sprays, like just a light spray. And this was like constant. So we're like constantly moving all our stuff and moving it all back and moving all our stuff out and moving it all back, which was just such a like inconvenience when, you know, it's like I have the big dog, I'm blind. So when stuff gets moved, I was like walking into everything. And then one time my mom was out of town and my assistant Mesa was staying here with me and they were supposed to come in. So we moved everything. And at this point they were doing both the bathrooms too. So I had to take out all my skincare products, all my makeup, all my haircare products, like everything from every drawer in both bathrooms and in the kitchen. So the living room and my bedroom was just the floors and all of the surfaces were covered in the stuff. And then they're like, yeah, they can't come till tomorrow. And I was like, I have walked into and tripped over like 15 items in the last 10 minutes. I can't live here tonight. So I had to go stay at a hotel because it was just like such a hazard. Like there was no other place to put stuff. So it was just getting really frustrating. And you know, they say like roaches will survive the atomic bomb. And the building kept telling us like nobody else has roaches. And we were like, well then where are they coming from? We're near like a trash chute. So we were like, maybe it's because they're coming from the trash chute. We had them come and like caulk it, all the opening and seals, like anything that wasn't fully sealed, we had them come caulk it. We had to have them come remove the appliances and like deep clean and vacuum out just tons of roach eggs and nests. It was disgusting. And that was just the beginning of our problems. If you follow me, you know I'm a bathtub girl. I take baths, not showers, unless I like have to take showers. But even when I book hotel rooms, like we call them, we're like, we want to make sure we get a room with a bathtub because I just personally find bath or showers like disorienting and I don't feel as safe or as comfortable or as relaxed, so I take baths. Well, didn't my bathtub not work for 3 months? 3 months. They had so many. They had like at first our maintenance guy here would deal with it and he's like such a nice guy. All the staff here are so nice, but he couldn't fix it. So then they had another plumber come in who said, yeah, it's all fixed. Went to go have a bath, not fixed. They had another plumber come in, fixed it. It worked for one bath, then it didn't work again. This went on for 3 months. So for 3 months, I would top my stuff over. I would get all my products that I use every bath and all my towels and stuff. And I would tote it across the apartment to my mom's and run my bath there. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's one of those just little things where you're like, okay, we have roaches. My bathtub hasn't been working for 3 months. And then my mom's sink in her bathroom filled with dirty brown water, like out of the drain. And my sink was clogged at the same time, so we had to get them in to unclog mine and to drain my mom's sink. And what had happened is somebody's, whatchamacallit, air conditioner from the unit above like leaked, and all the dirty water went through the pipes and up through our sink. So they had to fix that. And then finally, after 3 months, they figured out the bathtub thing. There was 2 problems simultaneously happening. So one was that the like opening and closure was jammed, so it wouldn't like move up and down to close the drain and open it. So they finally managed to get a part that fit, because the part they had put in was too big, so it just jammed and locked. And then they realized that the other thing that was also going wrong was the pipe was old. It was just rusted, it was old, so it wasn't retaining water anymore, even if you would clog it. Like even if I would be able to stop the water, it would keep draining because it wasn't sealed enough. So they had to literally go to the apartment below me, rip their ceiling out, and change the pipes completely. So the problem was one plumber would fix one problem and not realize there was another. And that's why it was just like this vicious cycle of like coming in and thinking it was fixed, but it wasn't. But you know, we were just rolling with the punches, making it work. And then things started to change. A lot of people were moving out that lived here, and a lot of the units were becoming Airbnbs. So there was like a real party vibe. Like it like it became a vacation. Oh wow, I just really almost flashed you guys. I got so excited. It really had this like party vacation home vibe, which I'm all for like having a good time in a vacation. But when you live somewhere, you don't want that like party lifestyle and party vibe every night, where like you can hear people like having parties down at the pool, and on the rooftop is always booked out for parties, and you hear people in their units blasting music, and people walking in and out of their doors down the hallways like drunk and yelling on a Wednesday night. Like when you live in an environment, you don't really want that feeling, and they're not allowed here. Like we're not supposed to Airbnb here, yet they somehow couldn't manage to crack down on the Airbnb issue, and there just came an increasing number of Airbnbs, which was really frustrating for all the residents who continue to live here, because it just felt like we were in a hotel. It was constantly people coming in and out. We had people ask us like, hey, where's the like front desk to check in? We're like, it's not a hotel. Like there isn't a front desk to check in. Like it's not a hotel. Or like, hey, how do I get to the fitness and spa center? Like is there like a key card I have to swipe? And we're like, no, you just go down. Like it was so weird, because it's like people would rent the Airbnb and think it was really a hotel, and just constantly people coming in with suitcases. Like there would be like groups of 15 people coming in with 10, 20 suitcases, and the person who was like renting out these units would be like guiding them through the halls, like, and over here is the pool, and we're like, what is happening? Like it's not a residence anymore. It's just this like in and out feeling, and it really ruins the community vibe, because one of the things we really loved when we moved here was the community feel, like just having like groups of people that we could all like go to the hot tub together and hang out and get together and chat, and you know, meet each other in the hallways and knock on the door if we needed some eggs, you know, like it just had that feeling. And that feeling, although was still here, started to go, and the energy really started changing. So a lot of my friends and a lot of other residents became increasingly unhappy, and more people we found that we knew and, you know, would wave to in the hallways and chat to at the dog park were leaving. And that's when our nice neighbors moved. So I had 2 neighbors in the unit next to us in the time that we had lived here, and both were like not a problem, like no issues whatsoever. One we like literally never even saw, and then the other was like very friendly and nice, and we, you know, chat in the hallways. And then they left, and this is when like the final straw, like the real challenge came to be. Our new neighbor moved in, but it seemed like it wasn't the person renting it. So there is some corporate housing in this building, which is where companies who have people like who frequently travel to LA for business will rent an apartment, they'll furnish it, and they'll put their staff up there for long periods instead of renting hotels for long periods. And so we have some of that. Like model housing is pretty big here. We have some model housing units where modeling agencies, you know, furnish an apartment and rent it, and when they bring their models into town, the models live in the model housing. Well, it seemed like the apartment next to me became a rapper housing. So we were informed that the person renting it was a music producer of rappers, and that's who was going to be living there. But we would see him very occasionally. That wasn't who was actually the one sleeping there every night, because he was like older in his 30s, and we knew what he looked like, and he was quite friendly every time we did see him. But the person who was staying there most of the time was much younger than me, I'd say. Would you say, Mom? 19, 20?
Yeah, very young. He was 19, yeah.
But the people then started rotating. But they were all young, like 18 to 21. And they would just keep rotating. Like it was like there'd be 3 of them there, and then 1 of them there, and then 2 of them there. And it was all these young aspiring rappers. And they were bringing like, oh my god. And like the neighbor on the other side of them was like, oh my god, they just bring in girl after girl. Like they will bring like 15 girls home with them at night at 2 a.m. Like it was crazy. They were just always like rotating women. And we were like, do these girls know what's up? But not for me to speculate. They had this like yappy, angry little dog that would like, anytime it would walk by and see Gallop, it would like, Gallop's 95 pounds. Gallop was terrified of this dog because Gallop's very well behaved and very sweet, gentle natured. And this dog would like lunge at him and attack, to the point where one night this guy was walking past us with the dog, and I happened to open my apartment door to leave at the same time, and his dog ran into my apartment and started running after Gallop. Gallop was terrified in his own home, and the guy just stood outside my apartment like, come on bro, come on bro. And I was like, dude, just get your dog, just take the dog, like just come in and take your dog. And he was just always like this bad energy, and the dog was just so nasty to Gallop. Gallop would get so scared every time he'd see him because he would just lunge at him and lash out at him. Even though it was like such a small dog and Gallop's so big, he just was really scared. And the guy like never seemed to be like, oh, I'm sorry my dog ran into your apartment. I'm sorry my dog is attacking your dog. But the real problem was the sound. Oh my god, the sound. I don't know when they sleep. It must be during the day because they certainly don't sleep at night. Every night around 11 or midnight, the music or the video games begin. And they don't end till 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. all through the night. And I'm talking, it is so loud that my wall shakes. It's the bedroom my mom sleeps in. And I can be, her bedroom is there. If you saw the apartment, you know. Her bedroom's over on that side, and this living room, then it's my room. There was times where I could hear what the TV was saying from my bedroom, 3 rooms over. I could use like Shazam to figure out what song they were listening to, and it would figure out what song they were listening to because all the lyrics were crystal clear. We started documenting it, so we'll put some nice sound clips right here. Yeah, their TV was mounted to the same wall that shares my mom's bedroom. So we could hear everything all through the night, every night. And that wasn't even when they were having parties. Girl, when they were having parties, which was also frequent, it was outrageous. I went over to them one day at 3 a.m. and I just knocked on the door, and he opens the door and he sticks his head out, and I've never smelled so much marijuana in my life. Like it just flooded the hallway when that door cracked open, stuck his head out at 3 a.m. and he goes, sound? And I went, yeah. He goes, okay. Slams the door, turns the music down for approximately 5 minutes, and then it goes right back up to the same volume. We started calling our courtesy patrol security guard like nightly to be like, noise complaint, because we were told like for us to do anything about it, you need to document. You can't be the only one complaining. Well, guess what? We were the only neighbors beside him because my friend who's on the other side of him, her wall shares their bathroom. Well, you're not partying in your bathroom. So she hardly got any sound. However, she did get smell, and so did we. I don't have a problem. Like, look, marijuana is legal in Los Angeles. I don't have a problem with what you do in your personal life, but this is a non-smoking building. Even though marijuana is legal, you are not allowed to smoke in this building. If you want to smoke marijuana, you need to smoke outside the building, not indoors. But they would just smoke. They must have oodles of money because it is expensive stuff, and they would smoke so much marijuana that my apartment every day would just reek of marijuana. And like I said, I don't have a problem with what you do in your personal time, but that's not something I partake in, and I have sensitive lungs, so I don't particularly want my apartment constantly smelling like marijuana. And not only that, this is where I run my business out of, so if I have people that I'm having meetings with or people coming over for collaborations, I would have to constantly be like, it's not me. Like they would walk in and be like, woof. I was like, yeah, I know, it smells like weed, it's not me. You know, like it was kind of like just weird. Like I was just like, it just had this constant smell, and I was just like, I'm not producing this. I would like my air to be my clean air that smells like my nice anthropology candles. But like that we could get around, you know, like we can live with that, whatever. It's kind of annoying, but it's whatever. The biggest issue that really made this place absolutely unlivable was the sound and the lack of caring or kindness from our neighbor. So finally, one night, my dad was over, and my mom had been, like, honestly, most nights she would just sleep on this couch because she couldn't sleep in her bedroom. And this isn't a pull-out couch. Like, she would just sleep on this couch. And we had my dad over, so obviously my mom and dad can't both sleep on this couch. So they had one night where they were both up all night. They must have had a party because it was extra loud. Oh, I couldn't even hear what video games they were playing. If they were playing FIFA, if they were playing a gun I could hear all the gunshots. If they were doing like car racing, we always knew what game they were playing. And so they must have had a party because it was like extra loud. So neither of my parents slept all night. So the night that they didn't sleep the entire night, like the poor things, they were both so frazzled the next morning. I felt so bad. But that night at like 11:30 at night, my dad was like, it's so loud already, we're not gonna be able to sleep. So he went out into the hallway to see if he could see the courtesy patrol guy to help with the noise. So he's like looking around back and forth, and then lo and behold, the guy happens to come out of his apartment. And my dad sees him and he goes, hey man, I'm just next door and my wife and I are trying to sleep. Would you mind turning the sound down? And he looks at my dad and he goes, are you an Airbnb? And my dad said, no, my daughter lives here. I'm just visiting and we just need to get to bed. And he goes, I'm just playing games in my crib. It ain't my problem. And walked away. And my dad said, are you the only one in there? As he's walking away. And he said, yeah, it's just me. I don't know what you want me to do. And he leaves, claiming it's just him in there, and he leaves the sound on all night. He didn't turn it off or down at all, as he's not even there. So they didn't sleep all night. Meanwhile, since mid-September, we've been asking the leasing office to look at other units in this building, but it's really hard to get the right unit with the right lighting and the right layout, and they're renovating a lot of them. So the right one hadn't come up, but they said mid-October, second week of October, the one that you want will be available. So we're like, great, we can wait this out. Well, guess what? It's December 9th and it's still not available. And every week since then, they've been telling us next week. So we've just been like holding out for that another unit, holding out for another unit. It was an Airbnb, and they told us they were able to get enough evidence that it was an Airbnb to kick them out, but somehow these people kept extending their lease. I don't know. I can't tell you. My mom, my dad, and I, we went in and we told our leasing guy and we said, look, like if this doesn't get resolved, we're moving. Like we've got to leave this building. We can't wait for that other unit. Like they're not leaving. You told us it would be ready months ago and it's not ready, so we need to leave if you're not going to crack down on the sound. And so he said, let me put in a legal complaint. And we said, you know, my concern is safety. Like I'm a young, petite, blind woman, and you know, my mom's not always with me. Like sometimes she's grocery shopping and I'm home alone, and he's obviously gonna know it's us. Like we've tried to talk to him civilly multiple times. He knows we're the ones that share that wall with him. So we were like, we're scared that he's gonna like approach us or do something, because we already know he doesn't care and he's been unkind. So we're scared. And he goes, well, I'm gonna put in a legal complaint. It's the next step of action. He'll get a legal notice that says if he breaks, you know, the sound policy, that, you know, he'll have to pay all these fines and be kicked out immediately. So usually that like stops the noise problems. And if he says anything to you, come and find me. Well, literally the next day, my mom's out waiting for our Uber, and my dad and I walk out of the elevator to go meet her on the street, and him and his friend are there. And I have my back turned to him at this point, and he goes, hey girl. Not like, hey, excuse me. Not even, hey girl. Hey girl. And I turn around and he goes, somebody put in a noise complaint about me. And if I had been alone, I would have just said, I don't have time for this, and walked out. But my dad was there with me. So my dad was like, hey man, like kind of like did the like calm down like hands. I was like, it's okay, man. Like, you know, and he was like, I showed them, like, I don't have speakers in my place. You know, like, I don't know what your problem is. I just have a TV. It's the only place to put my TV. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm just living my life. And I was just like blank face, and my dad handled the whole thing. I feel like I blacked out because I was just stressed. I was just like, oh god, I don't need to deal with this. And yeah, needless to say, sound never stopped. So sound never stopped, even though he got that legal complaint. And we just got to that point where it's like, we still have the odd little roach climbing around in here. Sound isn't going anywhere. More and more people that we like are moving out. Like, we're kind of just done, you know? It's like, we've lived here for a year and a half. The first year we loved it. Even when the roaches started coming, we were like, well, we can deal with this. We can get through this. But as things just continued to pile up, it was like the universe is just trying to tell us this isn't where we're supposed to be right now. It's not where we're supposed to be anymore. But we love this community and this area. So we started talking to a few of the other people in the building as they were moving out, and they were telling us, you know, where they were going or what spots in the neighborhood to check out. So we were like, you know, let's just start doing research, and we did, and we found the perfect place. It's a little smaller, but it's so nice. It's so beautiful. The amenities are incredible, and it just feels like the right next step, right way to start 2020 clean and fresh and without hopefully this noise. I can't wait till it's all set up and ready to show it to you guys. It's really exciting. So we're really sad to leave this place on Saturday when we signed the lease for our new place. My mom and I both just like sat on the couch here like sad, you know, like we were just like, because we really loved it and we really felt at home here, and it sucks, but we'll build that feeling in our new place. You know, we'll meet new people and we'll stay in touch with the other people still, and we will make it our new home, and it's fun, you know, like I'm gonna redo my room in a whole different vibe and style, so we get a new fresh background, and you know, it'll be great. We'll make the best of it. And when we called our current leasing guy on Friday to tell him, you know, we found a place and we're probably moving, he was like, I'm gonna try really hard to make sure you don't have to pay to break your lease, because we have 4 months left on our lease. And usually, in case you haven't rented before, or maybe it's different in other countries, if you've signed a lease till like April of 2020 and you're breaking it in December of 2019, you have to pay a couple $1,000s to break that lease. And he was like, I'm gonna try my best and make sure you don't have to pay to break your lease, because I know, and we didn't request that from him, he just said it because he knows this has been a really big uphill battle. There's never been any complaints about us. We've been very good tenants. We bring them gifts. We're always kind to them. We've been very patient with all of these challenges since last December when the roaches began till now. So that's nice. We're actually going right now to go have a meeting with him, and then we have to get back and continue to, you know, complete and get ready for the move. So that's my nightmare neighbor situation, but I'm happy, you know, just being positive, staying positive. We're gonna get away from this into a new nice home, build a good vibe, and February, March, I'll probably have the place all settled and able to do a tour for you guys and share my new place with you, but you'll see it in snippets before then. Let me know if you have any suggestions for room decor. I'm planning to do white, gray, and lavender. That's my vibe. So yeah, that's all. I might do moving vlogs, or at least one moving video if you're interested. Thank you so much for sticking with me and hanging out. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.